not hobbitses, not Sauron, not the precious, and banana camping on this episode of
WatchBots!
Hi, everyone. Welcome to WatchBots, the podcast about old cartoons and disappointing your parents with your life choices. This is Ben, joined tonight by Shaylin.
Hello.
Hello. And Animal from Muppet Babies, Dave. That's a Fozzie Bear line.
Fozzie.
Oh, that's Fozzie. What does Animal say?
Not. He doesn't have a catchphrase. He's just animal.
I'm Animal.
Damn it.
And tonight, it's a WatchBots first. It's a momentous occasion. We have a guest, Kendall.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I am fine. How are you?
I'm doing very well. You've done this before.
Clearly.
Yeah.
I'm a pro.
Yeah.
So I'm stooping so low to come down to WatchBots.
That's true. You're used to like WTF or I don't know, what are other podcasts people like? This American
There
Life.
are no other podcasts.
That's right.
This is
It's
one of five.
Yeah, it's a free space.
Yes.
Yeah.
I loved you on Serial.
Never heard
Great.
of it.
Fair enough. So how's everybody doing?
Aces. Thanks for checking in.
Great.
How are you, Ben?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Kendall. I'm glad somebody finally asked me how I'm doing.
Seems like you were reaching.
I was, yes. So that was an entry into my story. So I was in Cleveland for work this week, and I had to spend some time at the airport because I can't fly without being at the airport like less than 3 hours early. You know what I mean? I get neurotic about it. And I almost went to the Sammy Hagar restaurant. I think it was like Sammy's Beach Hut.
I've been there.
Have you been there?
Yes.
Did you go by yourself?
No, I was on a work trip. I think it was in Vegas.
Okay.
But yeah, it's fun. But what were you going to say?
Well, yeah, I see. That's the thing. I was going to go just for the purposes of talking about it on this show. And then, like, as I walked toward it, a man in his mid-30s, you know, on a business trip by myself, like, I couldn't do it. Like, I pictured myself sitting there in the Sammy Hagar restaurant, like, with, like, a enormous margarita and a $35 airport burger, and I think it would have been the last step before just throwing myself on the landmine and just calling an end to this whole shebang, you know.
I don't know. It's Nirvana.
I'm glad
That's
you
true.
chose the self-preservation route. Or the non-destructive route.
It would have been a good story, though. You know, you all could have continued this on without me. Had a memorial Van Halen cartoon episode.
Do you have it in your will who gets to host the show if you pass?
I don't have a will. Do you have a will, don't you?
I do not, no.
Oh, okay. I'm shocked.
We promised the priest who married us that we would do it in our first year of marriage, and we're coming up on year number 8.
You guys are married?
I know. It's another big reveal on the podcast. It's true. It's true. I didn't want to break the news this way. Kendall, do you have a will?
I don't have a pension or a will.
A pension?
Well, I don't know.
Who has
I
pensions?
don't either.
It's just it seems like things that adults might have. I don't know, wills, pensions,
I don't
credit
think
cards, good credit. I don't know.
Yeah, good credit I don't have.
No.
Yeah. This podcast ain't helping.
Buy our gear.
Yes, that's right.
It's like buy my book.
What's the URL? tpublic.com/watchbots quality gear promo code. Fuck you. Feeling hostile tonight. I don't know.
I thought it would be
Apparently.
like promo code like sassy
Yeah.
75.
Yeah,
No.
that'll do too. I don't know. I was playing Call of
Slim and
Duty.
sassy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
I like
I
that.
bet if you went to Hagar's, you'd be a little more jovial tonight.
Or at least a
A little looser.
can't drive 55 joke.
Oh, yeah. Or, you know what? Let's continue
Okay.
right now. I slay me with that. So mea culpa of the week, and I have one. And Kendall, don't worry, you're exempted from this unless you have a fuck up that we have made, which is possible. I don't want to put you on the spot. He passes.
I'm good. I'm waiting for yours.
Okay. Shaylin, Dave?
I have nothing because, as always, we are perfection.
Some of us are.
No mea culpas, no benefactums.
Well, see, here's the thing. I'm going to call Shaylin and Dave out, right? And I don't like to do this. I don't like to
Yes,
go
you
back
do.
He
and
really likes
say,
to do this.
He loves it.
I don't like to say
He loves it.
I made a smart reference for a smart audience. But last week, we were talking about Rothamon on Conan the Adventurer. And I made a Rashomon unreliable narrator joke, and neither of you even acknowledged it. And it really irked me.
That's not how I remember it.
Thank you.
Not only did I not acknowledge it, but you tried to explain it to me later, and I just stared at you. I didn't react, and I'm sorry for
It
that.
may have been like the one clever thing I've ever said on this show. And both of you just like went by and like I just stewed about it for the next 45 minutes. And I needed to get it off my chest. So maybe it's not a mea culpa. Maybe it's tea culpa because it's your fault.
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
Yeah.
a little accusatory.
Yeah.
I mean, rightfully so. It went right over
Oh, yeah.
both our heads. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I apologize, Ben.
You're goddamn right.
I still don't get it.
Well, you're uncultured, so.
From my point of view, I still don't get it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the audience got it.
Yeah.
And if you got it, hit us up on Twitter, hashtag Yashomon. And if you didn't get it still, hashtag Rashonon. Okay.
All right.
All right.
So, Kendall, you made our pick this week. You are our treasured guest. And we are talking about Super Friends.
The Super Friends. Yes.
And why Super Friends? You know, what made this stand out to you?
This was my Saturday morning for a number of years. My brother and I wake up easily by 6:30, 7, and wait probably 2 bowls of cereal until the Super Friends came on at 8.
So was the cereal like your gear up ritual?
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
It was the.
Yeah, you got to ride.
If we're lucky, it was a sugar cereal. But,
Did you have a go-to cereal?
I always loved Apple Jacks, which is good for you.
Not like
Yeah.
Weetabix or something like that.
This podcast is over.
Kendall has left the building.
Well, fortunately,
I'm sorry. So yes, no. As far as cereal, no, but it was always a thing for us. And then I remember looking back, and I'm sure we'll get into this, but the Super Friends they like to break the rules.
Mm-hmm.
They never like to stick by the rules. That's what makes them badasses.
Yeah.
By always breaking the rules.
Well, I mean, you think of auteurs, right? And you think of like Kubrick, Michael Bay, the Super Friends.
Right.
Yeah, they all fit in
So-
that same sphere. Yeah.
Well, especially when you have like really complex, complicated, fun characters like Batman.
That's right.
And then you make him into like this moralizing,
Mhm.
play by the rules guy. And they're all like that,
Yeah.
which is weird.
I mean, it's an interesting space to play in, you know?
I mean, I don't know. What did you all grow up with Super Friends?
So, an interesting thing about Super Friends. So, it was on the air in some form or fashion from 1973 to 1986, which is fucking crazy. So, to an extent, yes, because I remember watching Super Friends, but I don't remember what version. Because when I was doing my research,
There
the
are
show,
many.
you're right. I mean, there
are many
were
versions.
7 different iterations, and I can't figure out why.
Money.
Maybe. I guess.
Were there
but-
different groupings of heroes?
Yeah, different. They centered on different
Yeah.
heroes. They
It was different studios too, wasn't it? It wasn't Hanna-Barbera the
Maybe.
whole time.
I think it was.
Was it?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Huh.
Yeah.
I might be conflating with the WB Batman that they came out with.
That was like 15 years later.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Fucking wrong.
Jesus. I should see myself out.
Man, I wish you got that Hagar's.
Yes.
You and me both, Dave.
But yeah, so I mean, we had the Super Friends, the all new Super Friends Hour, Challenge of the Super Friends, the world's greatest Super Friends, which is what we watched.
Right.
Super Friends again, Super Friends, the legendary Superpowers show, and the Superpowers Team Galactic Guardians. That's a lot.
It is.
Yeah.
And yes, different groupings, different sidekicks, but also supporting characters. Different villains.
Was it like different settings too? Like one was on Earth and one was in space. And...
Most of the time,
Mostly
they always
Earth.
had the Hall of Justice. It was, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure this out. Like,
Yeah, because the core group is I understand it.
Right.
You know, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Robin was around most of the time. Aquaman.
Who was,
Yeah, interesting character.
Yeah, I mean, and also you couldn't punch during this time. Like they couldn't show punches, and they couldn't. Yeah, so it's.
Was it the oil crisis?
It was probably Jimmy Carter's fault.
Yeah.
That's where the blame
Fucking
usually
Enid
falls.
Farman, son of a bitch.
Exactly.
Get in the way of my punching.
Jesus.
He got his though.
Well,
Is he dead?
he's not dead.
No.
Okay. I guess I
We
didn't
looked
get
this up
his.
recently.
Did we?
Yeah.
We talk about Jimmy Carter a lot. This is now the Jimmy Carter show.
Well, he could have died since you looked him up.
Yeah, that's true.
We would hear about it.
It was like within the last 15 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think too with different lineups. So I looked up the different lineups over time, and the original lineup had Wendy and Marvin and Wonder Dog.
They were the worst.
And they were just kids, right? Like they
They were
have
like
anything
unpaid
special.
interns.
Yeah.
And they would get in the way, and they were very
Yeah.
70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the version that we watched had the Wonder Twins, which is Zan and Jaina and their pet monkey Gleek. They were created for this show, and we can talk more about this. I don't get it.
So my understanding is that it's a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll. Who am I talking about?
Donny Osmond and
Thank
Marie
you.
Osmond.
Yes. Yeah. So you had the Osmond Hour in the 70s.
Okay.
And
Oh, so they're supposed to be like Donnie and Marie?
yeah, there was
Yeah.
definitely a Donnie and Marie going on because
didn't they have their own cartoon though?
I think they did. I believe there was a Donnie and Marie cartoon at one point.
Yeah.
so this is just another example of Super Friends stealing
That's
from
true.
cultural touchdowns.
That didn't happen.
No,
we
I don't
certainly
know.
won't spend a
No,
lot of time talking
never.
about this. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because in watching Super Friends, like the fact that they had these characters that were created specifically for the cartoon, when the characters in the show, like Batman and Superman, are only the loosest approximation of like their actual characters.
Yes.
It just was a complete mindfuck to me. Like, what point do these characters serve? You know? It's interesting.
So you've got these awesome group, this awesome group of heroes, right?
Right.
Everybody's familiar with them, and then they decide, you know what? Superman can't stand on his own. Batman
Right.
can't stand alone. Like
Right.
we need the Wonder Twins.
Right.
Like
Who
why?
sex appeal.
Because they
Did you check out those gams?
Yeah. I mean, you could feel the
Zans?
tension.
Yeah.
Mm.
Between the
there was a
the
lot of
twins.
weird ST in those
Yeah,
twins.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Stench it.
Yeah, I noticed that
Yep.
too.
It's a beautiful thing. I remember too, for like the later Super Friends, there was a Kenner toy line too. So they had all the
Kenner.
Super Friends, and they had made up, I think, all these space alien galactic villains, and they had a really cool Batmobile and stuff. So, but that was later on. That was later than what we're talking about. So, that was
Not
that
applicable.
was a later generation. No longer
right.
applicable. So the episode that we watched was
An entirely original story.
That's true. Nothing picked up from anywhere else, anything like that. But titled Lord of Middle Earth, which I don't know. I mean, we'll talk about it in a minute, but
Never heard of.
it aired on October 13th, 1979. And the writer was Jeffrey Scott. And he's written for tons of stuff. He's still active today, which, I mean, like, I guess a guy having a 40-year career is maybe not that interesting, but it blew me out of my chair for some stupid reason. But anyway, he wrote on such things as Wish Kid, which was that cartoon that had Macaulay Culkin associated with it.
Oh,
somehow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
He also did Dungeons and Dragons, Fawns and the Happy Days gang. So prolific guy. Yeah.
Sit on it. Jeffrey Scott.
Right.
That's what you call a burn, by the way.
There's a lot of there are a lot of people in the animation industry, both the voice actors and animators, that just seem to stick around. So like if you can just get an in, you're in for like 30, 40 years. It sounds great.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, right? Because like how hard could these shows have been to write? In this case, the answer is not at all.
Not
as
at
we'll
all.
get to.
Right.
I think you're right, Dave. Like the careers that some of these
But,
people
like-
pan out, it's insane.
But their hours are insane too. Like so a lot of the cast from Super Friends was
Sure.
also in Scooby Doo and was also in a couple of other Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And I'm under the impression that it's a lot of like, okay, it's 8 a.m. We're going to start the workday, and they record like 2 or 3 episodes straight through, and then they end up taking like 10 minutes to eat lunch, and they throw them back in the.
Yeah, but it's also the 70s, and it's just like fondue parties and key parties.
It's
Yeah,
a lot of
and
bell bottoms.
just cocaine on top of the microphones. It's like the hot dog on the stick. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That they barely eat and then say, "Oh,
that's right.
time for some shut-eye."
Yeah.
Pat Fraley and David Bowie with their Coke and milk diet.
Yeah.
Nuts. Nuts.
Hey, you know what? Wish I could be that slim.
Oh yeah. Don't we all?
What a sentence.
I thought that was a setup for Dave.
You and me
No.
both.
Oh,
You know what we do need a setup for is our bit. We need some context, Ben.
Kendall, do you like movies?
do I like movies, Ben? I'm glad you asked.
Great. You want to know what you're seeing, you want contextual feeling. Contextual feeling. Makes you feel so smart. Helps to understand the art. You want that contextual feeling. Again, just cringing listening to it over and over again, especially with a guest. Like it just brings the cringe factor back. Like, oh,
I'm still
That's
a
really
thing I do.
disappointed
I'm
that
just, oh, sorry.
our listeners voted against a contextual feeling music video.
What?
Yeah, we had a Twitter poll last week, and
What?
our listeners said, nay, no video.
I'm so disappointed they voted against doing more work.
I'm just surprised that you're not showing off your Grammy in your house
Soon.
soon.
Yeah, maybe next year. I think we
Okay.
just missed the cutoff. So we're coming for you, Gambino. Your shit's fucked. Top movies. So we actually don't have movies data by week. So Box Office
Okay.
Mojo only goes back to 1982. So
Okay. So this is when
October 1979.
Ooh. Ooh.
But I do have the top grossing movies of the year,
Okay.
1979. So number 1, Kramer versus Kramer. Uplifting family tale.
Yeah, that's a laugh a minute.
Yeah. Number 2, Amityville Horror.
Ooh.
So another laugh-a-gram there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I legitimately like that movie a lot.
What about
It's a good one.
remake?
Terrible.
Yeah, as most remakes are. Number 3, Rocky 2.
All right.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I thought it surprising that Rocky 2 didn't outgross Kramer versus Kramer. I don't know why. Just struck me as strange.
Well, people are idiots.
I was reading that the movie 10 with Bo Derek
Yes.
was also a popular film.
That came out in
1979.
October.
Yeah. Oh, did it?
79.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was
cheated.
wondering, maybe
I looked.
Kendall, could you walk us through 10 with Bo Derek?
I was going to do Bolero, but that's it. So I will stop now.
This would be a good time for a sight gag if you wanted to do like
Yes.
a slow motion running thing.
Yeah, I'll play Dudley Moore. Yes. It's,
Very
He's
good.
got cornrows in his hair.
yes.
Well, if you
hilarious,
wanna
drunk,
s-
short English guy
Yeah.
who's dead.
If you want to see that, you can go on to our Patreon. It's at the $30 level, and you can see the reenactment right there. So, top music of the week. We do have this. Number 1 song in the U.S., Don't Stop Till You Get Enough by Michael Jackson.
Aces.
Yeah, which I didn't realize that song was from 1979.
Is that the one that has the music video with the light up floor?
That's Billie Jean.
That's Billie Jean. They all have light up floors.
Don't Stop Till You Get Enough has like odd like laser background thing. It's really, it looks like a.
I think you're thinking about
really,
Money for
really,
Nothing,
really
Dave.
Oh, that's right. And I think all the floors in the 70s were light up.
Maybe that's what I'm doing. I'm just
Yeah.
assuming that every floor in the 70s was light up tiles.
It was
Yeah.
truly a better time.
Agreed.
Halcyon days.
Yeah. Number 2, Rise by Herb Alpert.
Wow.
That's
Oh, I love
amazing.
that song.
With the Tijuana
Yeah.
brass.
Tijuana Blast is something different.
Do you want to blap? It's
Something
pronounced.
different, indeed. Number 3 was Sad Eyes by Robert John, which is a song I've never heard of.
Nope.
Got those sad eyes. You know that one? Top TV.
I think you're mispronouncing it. It's
No.
Betty Davis eyes. That's what it is.
We don't make mistakes.
It's a typo.
Top TV. Number 1 was 60 Minutes. Number 2, Three's Company, which is a show that could not be
What?
produced today. I
No,
think.
Three's Company wouldn't work.
Wouldn't fly.
No.
Yeah.
Lot of boobs.
Because John Ritter's dead.
It
Well,
was
that's
the,
true.
It was the Downton Abbey of its day.
Upstairs, downstairs.
Yeah, it was an upstairs downstairs thing. So
Weird references to
Yeah.
threesomes with a gay guy.
see, it writes
Come
itself.
to our Abbey too.
Knots wasn't gay.
That's true.
I was talking about John Ritter. His short shorts.
Oh, right.
And number
Yeah.
3 was
Chips.
That's Incredible.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Skip.
Which was a show I don't know that I've ever watched, but I've heard of it.
What?
Yeah, because it's like a world record show,
That's
right?
Incredible.
Yeah, like people doing incredible things. Is
Yeah.
that the general concept?
Yeah,
of that?
it was really great.
Sounds like it.
See, I had a sight gag going because I was shaking my head no,
Mhm.
using irony.
Opposites.
Your
Yes.
voice said yes, but your eyes said,
Mm-mm.
"Please get me off the show."
Yes.
It's too late now. It's too late. So let's get into this.
Okay.
And so the music for Super Friends, very lively. I really dug it.
Oh, it still kind of psychs me up.
Well, let's give it a shot.
All right.
It's the world's greatest super friends, Batman and Robin, Superman, Wonder Woman and Aquaman, the Wonder Twins, banded together to protect the universe from the forces of evil, the Super Friends. Dedicated to truth, justice, and peace for all mankind. The world's greatest super friends.
A minute never feels so long. It's when, like, you're just like watching the timer go by, like, wrap it up, let's go.
So I'm gonna jump in early
Please.
on the
Please
power
do.
hour here. Ted Knight,
Yes.
who
Thank
was
you.
also Ted Baxter on Mary
Yeah.
Tyler Moore, fan-fucking-tastic narrator.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to another kick-ass edition of Voice Acting Power Hour. Did you know that these people said some words that also showed up elsewhere for money? Pat Fraley, Dave Berger, and Brad Garrett, they were all present and doing voices. That is the intro for this segment. Voice Acting Power Hour. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So Ted Baxter.
Tip of the cap, by the way.
Yeah, so Ted Knight is the narrator,
Right.
and he
Of Caddyshack fame and others.
and other things.
Other things.
He did lots of things.
He did.
And I would argue, so Ted Baxter holds a special place in my heart as a character. Mary Tyler Moore, he's like the ditziest dude alive. It's great.
Never heard of it.
But I still think that his narration for Super Friends is unmatchable.
I didn't realize it was him.
Yeah. Super Friends. So
Friends.
good. This is a star-studded cast.
Too true.
You have Casey Kasem.
Yes.
Back.
And Adam West is not in the season, but
No.
Was he the voice sometimes?
sometimes a
Okay.
Batman.
And Frank Welker, who is still doing voice acting.
Yeah.
Cause,
Really?
Yeah.
it's like having Casey Kasem as Robin, who was also Shaggy, like a little bit of a head trip there. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Also, early Pat Fraley, Shaylin.
Where does he show up?
No,
episode.
that's not true.
He played other voices according to his Wikipedia.
I didn't think he was in this episode, though.
Oh, I don't know, but he's in the show.
Yeah, he did the series, but he wasn't in this episode. I'm a purist here, Dave.
Get your facts.
Get your stuff together.
Yeah,
Right.
get your shit
I'm sorry.
together.
I'm going to bow out of this power hour. I'm sorry.
And then so Michael Bell does Zan, and he showed up. Basically, he's Pat Fraley's like little sidekick. He was one of the Moo Mesa Cowboys.
Oh, right.
Does some singing.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that he's like the weird Donny Osmond.
Right. And he also does Gleek, right?
He does.
Does
Yes.
he?
Yes.
Okay. I thought it was Frank Welker that did Gleek, but I believe you.
Get your mind right, Shaylin.
Anyway, Ted Knight, can't beat him. Super.
Who else was on the show?
Well, those were the highlights.
All right.
Gave
Well,
you the highlight reel there.
Maybe there will be more as we go.
Could be.
Star-studded voice actors for a star-studded cast of characters.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Just great stuff.
I like how the show starts with a montage, as most of these shows do, and you get to see the Super Friends fighting their biggest villains, like pirates.
And a snail.
Space
A giant-
pirates.
a
Yeah.
giant snail.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the more I thought about it, the more I was like, there's no like episodic villain. They just fight like the weirdest things imaginable, right?
And then we even find out that the snails are their friends.
That's right.
Yeah.
But
They have a long
it's
history with the trolls. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But the snail in the theme song is a different snail. So
yes, it is.
This show has
Yep.
gone
Yep.
has
It's
gone
from a
back
different
multiple
episode.
times
Yeah.
to snails.
Well, snails are visually interesting.
Yeah, and it's very quick,
I imagine they're.
much like this podcast.
Do you think that the snails were like a cheaper thing to draw because it didn't have a lot of detail? So they were like, quick, we need something fast.
No,
Or
no,
they're
no,
just
no,
like, all right, this cartoonist, he's really good at drawing snails, and that's all he can do. He's like, he's limited, but he's good.
That's Jimmy Neal. He's the snail guy.
He's the snail. We got the snail guy.
You got Jimmy Neal? Get some snails. Oh man.
Casey
Oh,
Kasem.
we could do
Ted
like
Knight.
a dangerous,
The
like
snail.
a cone. No, just a regular garden snail. That's all he can do.
Here's the pitch. Snails.
Snails.
I wish I could be as good as anything as about this snail expert that we've just crafted, but like it's never going to happen. It's sort of depressing.
Oh, Ben, are you digging again for some compliments?
No,
'Cause
no,
we love you, man.
This is reality.
Okay.
This is reality. Hard truths.
I still wish you'd gone to Sammy Hagar's place.
I mean, I'll go back to Cleveland right now.
Maybe don't do that. We're in the middle of a show.
Cleveland rocks. So anyway, the title card pops up and it's called The Lord of Middle Earth. And I looked back and the animated Lord of the Rings movie, the Ralph Bakshi movie, came out in 1978. So in case there was any doubt at all in anybody's mind, I'll put it to rest. This is a Lord of the Rings ripoff.
Yep.
No.
And they banked on
What?
children. Children watched that cartoon,
Oh,
and children
yeah.
watched
Yes.
this,
Yeah.
and therefore children will understand without backstory.
Not to be the. You guys don't understand because you weren't born then. You guys don't understand because you weren't born then. But like we watched the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit again and again. We're like, this is amazing. Nothing. They can't make this version of Lord of the Rings better than this. Is like the perfect version.
I mean, we watched it a lot at my house because I had a big brother.
I was proven correct over time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
accurate.
true.
There was no other version that came out. So
Not that I'm aware of.
no.
No.
But like they would show it again and again and again. So it was very much in the zeitgeist, if I can use that word.
Well, this
You
was
meant-
gr- this
the late
episode
70s.
was great because it took everything that you love about Tolkien's masterpiece and everything that you love about DC comic book heroes, and it mixed it all together really, really well.
Everything you liked about it, and then took those out, and then stuck in
It
other
took-
parts.
It took two great things from your childhood and took a steaming dump on it. I loved it.
I don't know about that. There were some
No.
artistic decisions made.
Oh,
but
we'll get to the good parts.
yeah,
I'm sure.
they're all good parts. You know,
Foolish mortals.
you know what the first good part was? A camping trip. For some reason, the Wonder Twins and Gleek go camping, and as with all of the dialogue in this show, it all sounds pretty normal.
Oh, it sure is nice to take a vacation from the superhero business, Jaina.
You said it, Sam. There's nothing like roasting hot dogs under the stars. Sorry, Gleek. Roasting bananas is great, too.
And they're wearing their spandex superhero suits, which pissed me off a little bit, because even Mork from Ork had like the rainbow suspenders. He wasn't wearing that suit all the time.
Because they're aliens, too.
Yeah. Is it a comfort thing? Like, is
I don't know.
An Earth's atmosphere problem?
Maybe. It's like when you wear the leggings with the compression to hide your guts. They were wearing their spandex so that you couldn't see their true alien form.
I don't know.
Some of us wear an old-fashioned girdle, but
Yeah.
to each their own.
I don't know.
Well, I think Superman does that.
Again, did you see Zan's gams?
I did.
Did you?
Yeah. I paused.
Okay, good.
I screenshotted.
So
I saved.
I know our listeners can't see it right now, but the fantastic gag in this weird piece of dialogue is Gleek putting a banana inside of a hot dog bun, covering it with mustard, and then throwing everything except for the inside of the banana that never touched anything away and eating the banana.
So what was the fantastic gag again?
I hate you. Get out.
You didn't write it.
Gleek
have
was
your back.
funny.
Yes.
Very funny. So is Gleek a space monkey? Is he a normal monkey?
He's a space monkey.
Okay.
Okay. So does he have special powers?
No.
He
Fucking
makes
things up.
noises.
He can make a knot out of his tail.
Right.
He can tell
for no
stories.
reason.
Yeah.
Later on in the season, he actually pilots a sort of an old prop plane,
Okay. So he's a learning monkey.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everybody goes to sleep, and then we see a freaky little dwarf run out from the middle of a hill.
Yes.
I believe they prefer to be called little trolls.
Maybe not even little trolls,
Little-
maybe
just
just regular trolls.
Okay.
And you know what?
I'm trying to be
That's right.
sensitive.
And you know what, Kendall? You're right. And I would just like to apologize to the
Little
troll
peoples.
community out there. And I'm going to call you trolls and nothing else. And I'm not talking internet trolls.
It's,
Okay.
I was gonna say you're trolling.
Yeah.
You're trolling here.
Yeah. you 4chan, you get right off our ass here. All right. You're the trolls.
You are.
You bunch of jerks. So, as with reactions to some of our good jokes, Zan and Jaina, like, they react so slowly to everything. Actually, I think every character on the show, it takes a beat. And I'm going to play a clip, and maybe it doesn't come across well visually or audioly.
No, but I think there needs to be more exposition from each character in
Yes,
the dialogue.
I completely agree.
Okay.
Let's see if this plays.
I told you to be careful if you slept over the tent. Yay!
So, sometimes you need to give a joke or something like a beat to breathe, right? Like, like, why does the chicken cross the road?
to get the other side.
Yeah. Sometimes it works the other way too.
Chicken poop.
This show gives it 8-9 beats for something to sink in. So, like, the troll is in their tent doing God knows what.
And they think it's Gleek.
They think it's Gleek. And then Jaina sits up. She sees the troll. She turns very slowly, and then she yells. And this takes approximately 7 minutes, give or take.
Now, you see, Ben, I just don't think you understand late 70s cartoon.
Sure.
Brilliant humor.
Mhm. That's true.
That's all.
Could be on me.
you just don't get it, do
Yeah.
See, I thought
It's
that
true in
was
most things in
Gleek's-
life.
I thought that was Gleek screeching.
you? He did do a screech earlier.
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
does he screeches like a 50s housewife might
Yeah.
see a mouse.
A 50s housewife. That's not #woke.
No, but that's how
Get
I
off this
that's how
podcast.
I scream, and that's how I describe it.
Okay.
So.
All right. That's a little more woke. Yeah. Half woke.
Woke.
So there's a whole like army of trolls that are leaving this cave, and
They're fleeing.
I mean they're
And
fleeing
some
from.
don't have pants on.
I think they're quitting. I mean, they're leaving their jobs. Okay,
Yes.
they're a bunch of quitters.
So it's an interesting thing because they mentioned Mal Havoc, who we'll get to in just a minute here, but this is the first introduction. Mal Havoc is like this all-powerful sorcerer. So what was he doing that gave these trolls that chance to escape? Was he sleeping?
He was at Sammy Hagar's in Cleveland.
Son of a bitch, I should have gone. God damn it.
He was on a biz trip. And that's...
You too could have lost all your trolls, Ben.
Wouldn't want to.
No.
That was a Jaina reaction I had. As I stumbled to think of a response.
2, 3, 8.
So the Wonder Twins wander into the cave and are taken hostage. And then Gleek runs away because Gleek is a coward, right?
Yeah, and I don't know.
Because Gleek's not stupid. He didn't run toward danger.
And we make fun of this episode, as we should. But like in terms of storytelling, there's a thing like you don't see Mal Havoc.
Yeah.
You just see the Wonder Twins reaction, right?
Yeah.
And it's, oof.
There's tension.
There's a little tension there.
Yeah.
It's Spielberg-esque with Jaws. Yeah.
Told you, Kubrick or Kubrick.
Mr. Kubrick, yes.
Super friends.
This is going well. So then we go to the Hall of Justice, and Batman is bombarding his cape in plutonium.
That's correct.
Chekhov's plutonium cape.
Yes, it's for protection, not from cancer so much, but from various bombardments.
It was a simpler time when
plutonium
didn't give you
was
cancer.
right around 3 Mile Island, so it was hilarious.
Yeah, it sure was. Let's listen together.
There. The process has started, Superman. This plutonium bombardment I've developed should make my cape impenetrable to any radiation or energy force.
It looks good, Batman.
I have testicular cancer. We see the rest of the group here, and I just want to call out Aquaman a little bit. Aquaman gets a lot of shit as a character, unfairly
as he
so.
should.
But here, he looks like he's about 60 and a heavy, heavy smoker.
Yeah.
With the black eyebrows and like the yellow hair.
Yeah.
It's
a good look.
Bags under his eyes.
Yeah.
Like,
he's just
very
haggard.
tired.
Tough work guarding the
It's
seas.
just- hey, look, the 70s were a tough decade, guys, all right?
Yeah, that's true.
He spent too much time at Studio 54 the night before. Now he has to watch Batman slowly kill himself. I mean,
Aquaman's out there partying with Pat Fraley and
Wait
David Bowie.
30
It's terrible.
minutes after you snort coke until you swim because he's Aquaman. See,
That's a good rule.
all right. No one. The joke there is that he's Aquaman,
Right.
And that he's a swimmer, and that this is the 70s, and that he did cocaine.
Ah.
So you have to wait. See what I'm doing here, just so we follow, is that the old line of waiting 30 minutes after you eat before you swim.
Okay.
I should go. I mean, I can go further. 'Cause
I mean, we're in the Middle Earth here.
Okay.
Spiral.
We're
What the fuck am I talking about? Continue.
No, I think we're good. I think I'm going to abort this joke and eject.
Do you think the cape comes into play later? I don't know. I have a sense that it will.
Did you watch the
cape
cartoon, Dave?
absorbs energy.
Here's the thing.
I was being sarcastic.
We're going to cut out the last
Please
4
do.
to 5
Please.
minutes, I think.
Yeah, we'll cut that.
So-
Watchbots doesn't cut for content.
I really enjoyed Gleek's little mitten feet when he came back to the Hall of Justice.
Yeah, Shaylin insisted that I pull a gif of Gleek's feet. Like,
Because
had
they're
me stop the episode.
goddamn
timestamp
adorable.
it to pull a gif of Gleek's feet. So
I just thought they were super cute.
just put
There are
Hella
probably
cute.
websites for that. That's disgusting.
They're
that-
little mitten feet.
gleekfeet.com. feetongleek.org.
Anyway,
Troll feet on Gleek. I don't know where
I love it. I
Yes,
love it.
Okay.
I love it. So Gleek shows back up at the Hall of Justice, stammers around like a monkey, but they know what he's getting at. And so
Yeah, it's very much like a pantomime. thing
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on.
Yeah. They must play a lot of charades in their
Yes.
off hours.
Yes.
Yeah. So they all go to the cave, and a couple of interesting things happen. One, Superman hears something, and in case you're a fucking idiot, the camera zooms in on his ear. Now, it's never made clear what he hears. I'm assuming it was hammering or something, but he just says, "Oh, I hear something," while the camera zooms in
It's
on
like
his ear.
quiet idiots.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then one of the characters, I think it's Batman, says, "Oh, it's the kingdom of Middle Earth."
Superman says that.
Is it Superman? Okay.
Yes.
Because he hears it.
Well, no. Once I go, like he says, like,
Yeah.
my lord, it's the
Okay.
It's the
Okay.
kingdom of
because
middle
I
earth.
was
Which is
Like,
like
it's
as if he knew it
great stuff.
existed.
that's the thing. That's what was getting me. Like,
Yes.
how does it work?
It's
How
just
do they
like
know that the
if you
access
knew
point,
it, if you knew it existed,
Yeah.
that there was like the slave kingdom down here, wouldn't you? He's like, oh, we've stumbled on this.
Why didn't you stop at Superman?
Yeah, there you go.
And then,
It's,
think about
yeah.
the kingdom of Middle Earth, right? Which you would assume would be in the middle of Earth, but it's just probably 100 feet inside a cave outside of Metropolis.
well,
or
don't be so
Gotham
literal.
City.
Come on, Ben.
I have to be. That's the gimmick of the show. We talk about things. It's just, but like, did they just know that there was this crew of trolls like living that close to town? Like,
And
were
they
the
didn't do
trolls
anything about
right?
it.
Were the trolls
Right.
unwelcome in high society?
We don't want your kind here.
It's an interesting thing.
Well, I mean, they were a peaceful group until Malhavoc showed up and enslaved them. So
So were
Were
they
they?
tall before? That's what I want to know.
that's a good question.
Yeah.
So
hadn't
I don't
seen-
think
Look at
that
this.
they
All right.
were because, and we'll get into this at
All
the
right.
end, but
All right.
when the spell is reversed,
Right.
everybody else gets big. The trolls stay trolls. King stays the king.
Hey, you got to do
Oh,
what
indeed.
Snails stay snails.
Indeed.
Yes.
Anyway.
Old man's got a fish. Come on.
So the trolls.
I'm sorry for how much editing you're going to have to do in this episode. Or
I'm not editing shit. So the trolls are working hard in the caves, and they've got a little pleasure and a little pain. And they're really downtrodden because they're just moaning as they work. It's rough.
Is that not like a thing people do when they're working? Is
Well,
that why everyone gives me weird looks all day?
I mean, I worked on the chain gang for 7 or 8 years, and I just sucked it up and took it.
I saw Charlie Sheen in Cadence. Sure. Yeah.
Well,
An arcane reference for you.
arcane reference on this show?
Never.
What are you talking about? So Superman, being the real go-getter that he is, decides to swoop in and save the day. Now, Superman's flying noise, it's like a slide whistle. It's weird. And he very slowly jumps in the air and then like swoops down toward the ground. It's
Slowly
quite a thing.
to the ground,
It's all
yes.
very slow. But
It's the same sound effect they used in Man of Steel.
yeah,
Really made it the gritty. Gave it the grit it needed.
it absolutely did.
Yeah.
It absolutely did. So Superman picks up who I think is like the foreman of the group.
The Taskmaster.
Is that his name?
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the lovable lisp.
Yeah.
I love that guy. I just love that guy.
I just call it Cat Bull.
It's cat.
Cat Bull.
Cat
Work
Bull.
harder.
He had a lot to say.
He does.
A layered
Faster,
character.
you trolls.
But Superman gave him his. And thank God we have a quip and a clip.
Faster, you sniveling trolls! I hope you like mushrooms.
The clip just kept going. Well, you'd have to like mushrooms to understand this episode.
Zing.
I don't get that joke. Like, I understand. So Superman drops the cat bull into
A mushroom.
giant mushroom.
Into a giant mushroom.
And he just says, "I hope you like mushrooms," but I don't understand. Like, there's nothing
Like,
beyond that. Like,
It's just
why
like,
did he?
maybe
have to
he
drop
really
him
hopes he
in
likes
trouble?
mushrooms, but like, well, he's like
No, because the
ass
joke
over
is he's
tea kettle in a mushroom.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
you're thinking way
Like-
too hard about this
Yeah,
children's
like,
cartoon.
Like as if it's like he didn't order it off the French menu, Dave.
It was like, why did they choose? Why did the artists choose a mushroom for him to drop it in?
Because
Like, it could have been
Snail
something
Guy
else.
can only draw mushrooms.
Snail guy draws snails, and mushroom guy draws
No,
mushrooms.
See, I have an answer for this.
Okay.
Because if it had been like a pointy rock and he had impaled a cat bull on the pointy rock and there'd been bleeding everywhere, probably wouldn't have worked as well. I hope you like being impaled. Not funny. Hope you like mushrooms.
And a bit more
Hilarious.
gruesome,
Yeah.
It just felt like somebody wrote, "I hope you like mushrooms," and then dared somebody else to write the entire episode around that line, and that's how we arrived. At
Gotcha,
this.
motherfucker. Animate this.
Challenge accepted.
All of these episodes are just based on a dare.
Yeah,
I
The
could
whole
see that.
series.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
So this is where we
Okay,
get the introduction of Mal Havoc. And Mal Havoc brings a lot to the table, and He has a very smooth, emotionless voice.
Do you mean the sexiest voice in all the world ever?
I did mean that. Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Yeah.
because I didn't hear that, Ben.
Well, you read
but
between the lines.
I did.
Yeah. But the Super Friends, they just attack. You know, they're always pushing forward. And Wonder Woman uses her lasso of truth.
The
But
good thing
it's-
about I'm sorry, Shaylin, but
Go
the
ahead.
good thing about all of their attacks is that they don't try to let them know what they're doing by explaining in advance
Or during.
or
slowly. Yeah, everything is slow.
there's
but
no exposition.
yeah.
I was
Sorry.
going to say, it's almost like they expected blind kids to watch the show, so they have to say out loud what they're doing.
Or it could be that every episode had a requisite 3 lines of lasso banter.
Could be.
And here's one of them.
You handle your lasso quite well. But now we'll see just how well.
Great terror!
Clever. It's said very sexily and huskily, which
Yes.
I think we all can appreciate. But
I don't think you're appreciating it quite enough.
well, because I can't think about anything but what he's actually doing.
And,
Which
and Ben is still really regretting not going to Hagar's.
Yeah,
We all
yeah,
are regretting that
I'm
decision,
distracted.
sure, but
yeah. I mean, I could have had a Cabo Wabo burger, a fucking Van Halentini.
but I
That's it.
absolutely.
That's all I could think.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's
Wonder
the-
Woman, Wonder Woman sends her lasso at Mal Havoc, and it wraps around him very slowly. He then turns it into a snake, which is wrapped around himself. He then sends said snake back at Wonder Woman, where it wraps around her, then turns back into a lasso with no harm done.
Right. I always think this is like, it's really merciful. He could have done something far worse. And
Yeah.
it's just like he's toying with them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is something this guy's way more powerful than all of these guys.
Yeah.
And
Mal Havoc.
way sexier voice.
It's true.
He kind of looks like Hordak from She-Ra
Yeah.
a little
Yes,
bit.
He does a little
And-
bit.
Yeah. Figure we should talk about what things look like from time to time.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah. So the next attack, this is important. We have to do this step by step. Batman shoots a bubble at him, and it's like a translucent bubble. It kind of looks like the amber from Jurassic Park, and it just transports Mal Havoc down to them.
Sorry.
And it does, yeah. it does nothing to Mal Havoc. He doesn't give a shit. And then I'll just read my notes verbatim, and we can talk about this. Then, oh Jesus, holy fuck, they're all transformed into trolls. What the fuck? What the fuck? End quote. Discuss.
Yep, pretty accurate. You take your super friends,
Mm-hmm.
you make them into little tiny nightmare versions of each other or of themselves.
So, yeah, I was wondering, so it is like, if they don't have their height, does that mean they don't have their power? Or is it just like his thing is like, all right, I'm taking your power, which
Yeah.
means that you're shrinking down.
So
Or
I don't believe
is there
they
some
have.
Freudian thing going on here? I don't
See,
know.
that could
Definitely.
be because go figure. It's not really well explained. Batman,
Everything else is.
in his high nerdy troll voice, he mentions, "Oh, we have our devices,"
Right.
but none of the others appear to have any particular strength or anything.
Right.
Also,
Yeah.
Batman says he loses his powers, but Batman has no powers.
The power of detecting.
yeah. He's just stupid now.
Also, when he gets shrunk down, his bank account no longer has any money in
Right.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And like, the thing that always got me was like, these trolls have been toiling there for like years, decades,
Yeah.
centuries.
Yeah.
And then like 20 minutes in, Robin's
dying.
Yeah, like Chris O'Donnell is dead.
yeah.
And because
Well,
like
Shaggy is not doing well.
Yes, no.
I mean, I think it's safe to say that a converted troll, their body will be less inclined to the hard labors of the cave than someone who's been born and bred into that life, perhaps.
That's a generous explanation, I would say. But sure, but they're super. I mean, they're super.
I'm a
okay.
generous man.
Okay.
What are they mining for?
Diamonds. They tell
Diamonds.
you later,
Right.
but it takes a while.
Rocks.
Why does it look
No.
like they're on the surface of Mars? Everything is just red. Is
They're
it-
in Middle Earth.
are they blood diamonds?
Well,
Let's go with
that's-
yes.
That was.
Why was I so excited to say blood diamonds? I was
'Cause
not
you're a
letting
lunatic.
anything get in the way of that.
It would be great if like Mal Havoc was like, no, we're not dealing with blood diamonds. Like, no, this is above board, and just like everything else.
Yeah.
He's like he's
Yeah,
he's a legitimate businessman.
Yeah.
But like, he's not dealing with that.
I
but
feel like the enslaved people really undo that narrative, though, that you've just constructed.
You're so simplistic, Shaylin.
Layers.
You
Get out.
ignorant slut.
Like an onion. So Malhavic's plan is to take the Super Friends' powers and then just put them to work. So like they're just hammering slowly at rocks. Like that was his grand plan. Just get to work. I need 7 people. Thank God.
Like 7 trolls?
Yes.
Okay.
There's Aqui and Batty, Soupy, Gleeky.
1D.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jane, a D. All right.
Jan.
I'm going to continue.
Off the rails. Okay.
But thank God, during their mining, they run into another classic DC character, Balderscam, the king of the trolls.
But even if we could escape, how would we stop Malhavoc?
I may be able to help.
Who are you?
I am Balderscam, king of the trolls. If you have the power and courage, I know how to stop Malhavoc.
We have to get Gargamel. I didn't realize he sounds exactly like Papa Smurf.
Yep.
But again, so Malhavoc, I'm just going to assume that he's very arrogant, right? Because he keeps the Super Friends alive and the king of the trolls to work.
And he lets him keep his crown.
Yeah. The crown, not in great shape.
No, but it's still a crown.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's working hard, man.
Right.
Yeah. One little detail I did enjoy, when they turn into trolls, for whatever reason, like their feet like stick out of their boots.
Yeah.
And like their hairstyles, it's just like fucking hippies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's grotesque.
It's really bad.
It's not cool. It's not cool. This is where the episode falls apart.
Oh, now is where it falls apart.
It was airtight up to this.
Really?
This is where it starts to fall apart. Let me explain why. So Baldersnatch, what the fuck is this guy's name?
Balderscam.
Okay, Balderscam.
Baldersnatch.
Baldersnatch.
Well, sure.
Whatever. Balderscam.
I've heard it both ways. Yeah.
I hate saying these character names over and over and over. It just
and I just laugh.
Balderscam.
King of the Trolls?
Yes. KOT?
KOT.
Anyway, so he explains to the Super Friends that if they have the consternation and the fucking testes, he can help them out, right? So they have to go to face these 3 deadly trials. But they're hurt immediately because there's a boulder guarding a passageway. He tells us about this too.
This boulder guards a passageway. We must move it.
So Malhavoc is this badass sorcerer. We've seen his power.
He can turn a whip into a snake.
He took down Superman.
But he has to guard a passageway with a boulder. Like,
just in case.
It raises the question as well. The sort of caves of wonders, and we'll talk more about this. Are these things that he created? Were they there? And if they were there and such a threat to his power, maybe having the mine right next to the cave, not the best idea.
I kind of like him even more this way because he's like, if you're at your job and you're just like, yeah, I could do that. I just don't want to.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is convenient for now.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay.
Sexy voice. He's like charmingly lazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's better that way.
Oh, yeah, he's the definition of cool.
Oh.
It seems almost like the keeping the honest. Like, you lock your car doors at night, not because someone can't still break the window, but because it's going to give them just enough impetus to keep walking.
Mm-hmm.
So he rolls a boulder there. Okay. Nah, don't go in there, guys. Like, that'll keep the honest criminals out.
Yeah. And see, I mean, that's the nice thing about this show is I had a question. You all answered it to a relatively satisfactory conclusion.
To a conclusion.
But Dave, you mentioned cool, and I think cool is the word for Malhavoc. And let's listen to him explain the cave of tasks here.
Fools! You think you've escaped me, but you've only succeeded in sealing your fate. That passage you've entered is the cave of the 3 deadly tasks.
The cave of the 3 deadly tasks.
Ooh.
Some real wordsmithing. I see we all agree.
Yeah. Well,
I was just looking up the year of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade because I had that moment.
89.
It was 89. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just checking.
Yeah. But so this was 10 years earlier, but the whole rule of 3 applies.
Oh yeah.
And
sure.
But like, How did Baldur's-Gam know there were 3? Because no one's ever done them before.
Well, nobody survived.
No one survived.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Because if you made it to the third and you didn't survive, well, he's the king. It's like
how could you tell your tale?
Well,
it's because Malhavoc he talks in his sleep.
Oh, okay. All right. I was going to say it's like the Pope knows like those secrets that nobody else knows too.
I also like the name, like the cave of the 3 deadly tasks. Like it's the place where the things that could kill you. It's just, like one's.
I mean, they are deadly.
It's very true.
Yeah, but you know what?
There are snails there.
The deadly ones.
Or possibly the friendly ones. One doesn't know.
It's there are dragons there, and they're of the advanced variety.
It is a hella scary dragon. Yeah. But what's a quest without a MacGuffin? And what is our MacGuffin?
I don't think this is a quest story, Ben. I think you've totally misread it.
I disagree.
This tunnel leads to the magic ring of Gandor. With it, we can rid Middle-earth of the evil Malhavoc.
The magic ring of Gandor. So, I know that we've agreed this is a Lord of the Rings ripoff, but I think the writer didn't really know what Lord of the Rings was. I think he heard ring, Gan, door, Middle Earth, small people, wizard, and just threw it all in a pot, stirred it up, and here's what we get.
Shout out some character names.
Yeah.
I like to think that he was at a family party and his young nephew was trying to recount Lord of the Rings to him, and he was like, this is a good idea. Yeah, this is a really good idea. Mm-hmm. But he didn't get any of the plot because it was told to him by a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
Or it's like he spent all his energy naming the non-superhero characters on Malhavoc, which is an awesome name. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, Gandor, Balderscat, whatever.
Scat. Yes.
Yeah, that's
Balderscat, man. Yeah.
Whatever. I got Malhavoc. I'm good for this episode.
And something really weird happens. This isn't related to the story, but I think this is worth talking about too. Something weird happens right after we're introduced to the Ring of Gandor, and it's a real funky fresh beat.
I just hope we can reach it alive.
It's the most 70s thing in the whole episode.
It's actually from Scooby-Doo. It's the same studio band.
Totally
I Googled it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's the name of the band?
I have no idea. I was just checking. I was looking at the bassist's name.
Meddling Kids.
I was going to say Scooby-Doo and the Meddling Kids. So
Oh.
great minds.
Okay.
We should start a band, you guys.
Should we?
Nope.
I'm on tambourine.
Yeah. I would be Scooby-Dooed. Fuck, that's terrible. That's horrible. I'm going to edit that off.
Yeah, anyway, the music is just
hell.
Yes.
The music is fantastic.
Yes.
It's Scooby.
And also, all
Scooed.
right. So they've stolen from so many places, but obviously especially Tolkien.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous names, all that. However, the animation, and I don't know shit about this stuff, but compared to later stuff, it's so much better, right?
Oh, it's really
rather
good.
than the jerky, just how people walk.
Yeah.
So this cartoon outside, we've watched a lot of stuff for the podcast, and we've seen some real shit.
Right, which is so much fun to see, the shit.
Yeah.
But even the Rambo stuff, which is just again, here's a visual.
This feels
gag.
higher quality.
Yes.
Somehow it feels oxymoronic to say that, but it does.
Yeah.
Well, it's the studio who made it cared. They hired artists who were talented.
Caring. There's a concept. Okay.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Yeah. No, I really like this cartoon. I know we're picking it apart, but man, I really into it.
You know what you can't pick apart? Batman being picked up by a tongue from a living cave.
Well.
Accurate.
Which has no stomach?
No stomach and no jaw.
No jaw. And just does this R.
Yeah, so for the listener, the cave is literally a face that doesn't move.
Right.
It's got stalactites and stalagmites. I know science for teeth, but they don't move. The only thing that moves is a big ass tongue, which very, very erotically,
very sexy.
Yeah, pulls Batman in.
I was uncomfortable.
Yeah, you're always uncomfortable.
That's true, but particularly that.
Yeah. So they use the old Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer plan to get out of this, and Wonder Woman uses her lasso to pull one of the top teeth out, which causes them all to fall out. A little rickety.
Weak jaw.
Yeah.
That's the first deadly task.
Right.
Right.
This weak ass.
Like who died at this task before?
Yeah,
that's what we want.
that's the thing. I had that question too, because Baldur's Scan says it so confidently that they passed the first task, and it's like, what?
Oh yeah,
A fucking dummy would you have to be to not survive?
But not only that, it's just like, don't be so confident.
Yeah.
But like, Wonder Woman says we barely did that, and Batman says we came away. I narrowly lost my life.
Yeah.
In sort of a humble brag kind of a way, like he's trying to one up Wonder Woman, and then he says, Baldur's Gate says, like, don't be so confident.
Yeah,
They're not being confident at all. They're being annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote at that point. I wrote down, "Why is this king such a wet blanket?"
Yeah,
Like,
he really is. But like, so are the Super Friends, and they're so passive aggressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
They are super passive aggressive.
I mean, oof.
Also, you talked about the animation here, like it's really good, and it's fun. But like, I had the problem with the king. He doesn't look like a person or whatever.
He's a troll.
Or your version of a king, Dave.
Yeah,
maybe
he doesn't look like a troll, or like a face with a beard. He looks like Cousin It with a human mask, like put on over his head. Like, it's
that's fair.
Really
That's
weird.
fair.
Yeah.
So
it's like Cousin It found a mask on the back of a cereal box, cut it out, and like strung it over his head.
Look at me, I'm the king of the trolls.
we're busting out Cousin It references.
Yeah, why not?
It's timely.
Yeah.
Timeless.
Mm-hmm. They do what they want to do. The Addams Family.
Yes.
Yeah. I like that you all did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will.
I'll point out that
Oh,
I was
boy.
the first one to do that. I'm just not as good of a snapper. So it wasn't as loud.
You just bragged about your non-snapping skills.
You're welcome.
Talk about passive aggressive. So we cut back to the main cave, and Mal Havoc is aware that Baldur's Scan and Wonder Woman and Batman and Gleek are on this quest, but he doesn't really care. But we also see Aquaman and Robin and Superman, and they're just mining. And Aquaman looks like Ozzy Osbourne now.
He does.
Yes.
Yeah. He's got like the long blonde hair
Yeah,
now.
like
He's got
somehow
like
it's-
heavy eyeshadow. Yeah.
He looks even worse than
yeah.
he did.
They're about to
Yeah.
form a band. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That'd be productive. But they're just hanging out, working. They
Working.
don't really have any other point in the episode.
Like
but
Superman is like trying to actually get work done.
Yeah.
He just
I mean, he's a good
He's
guy.
an earnest
Yeah.
worker.
He is a Superman, if you will. Mm-hmm. We cut back to the Fellowship, and they run into their next task, which are the horribly creative spider people. They get attached to the floor with webs and sound effects, and let's listen to the spider people real quick here.
Your weapons will do you no good.
Why do they hiss? I don't know.
great music though.
Yeah.
I wrote at this point, like I didn't have tons of notes on this episode because I usually just write down like the bad stuff, but I just wrote down these spider people are fucking scary.
What?
For whatever reason, like the animation of the spider people really troubled me. Like I found them really off-putting.
They were so fuzzy.
They were fuzzy.
They had hands and feet.
Yeah, I think that's why it bothered me so
Yeah.
much because
Yeah.
they were like anthropomorphic. I didn't say that right, but that's all right. You knew what
No,
I
you
meant.
said, no, I got you.
You said it right. Yeah.
I got you, boo.
But we've watched a lot of shows with anthropomorphic characters. Like, doesn't ever upset you either?
The spider people did other things, not some for some the very specific animation of these spider people bothered
But I mean,
me.
even this is like right out of The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, totally original. What was I saying?
No one's ever used spiders as villains before.
Well, you know what The Hobbit didn't have? Giant snails.
What?
Or did they? I don't think so.
Menacing snails.
Was that a Tom Bombadil thing? Did he have giant
He
snails?
didn't have snails.
No, I don't.
But
think so.
here's a question: the snails. I don't want to get ahead of us, but snails come and rescue them, right?
I think so.
Okay.
It's the giant snails.
Great Gotham. As if the spider creatures weren't bad enough.
Great Gotham. But the snails are friendly, and
But-
they do weird things, the snails.
So if they've been our friends for centuries,
Yeah.
Okay, a little help, guys.
And also, why does
That's a really good point.
why is the troll king alarmed at them? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
It's like the Lord of the Rings, where the Eagles come, and they're like,
Yes.
why didn't they just come at the fucking beginning?
It's just like, look, we're not your bitches, okay?
Yeah.
It's like, we're not just going to fly. We're not like Lyft or Uber.
So maybe they were going to draw eagles for this episode, but they had the snail guy there, and they were like, let's just replace those eagles with some mighty, regal-looking snails.
Yep.
And we've got it.
Quick aside. I saw a bald eagle yesterday, like just flying around in the wild. It was awesome.
You inspired?
True American. Shoot it.
I hung out and watched it and showed up late to work as a result because it was awesome. Yep. The end.
God bless America.
Be an American. So the snails are friendly, and they use their eyes to pick up the spider people and fling them around. Like, that was fucking crazy.
Yeah. It's just like somehow they grab them with their eyes.
Yeah, that would be painful.
I mean, the snails don't have hands. So.
For you, maybe, Ben, but those snails, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They do freaky things with those eyes. Trust me.
Yeah.
Better believe it.
Yeah. Slimy things.
And then we meet somebody very important and somebody that we need to meet. Kendall knows who I'm talking about.
I do.
Let's meet Gorka.
The strange ones escape again. Gorka must tell Malhava.
So, Kendall.
Yes, Ben.
You chose Super Friends.
Yes.
So I know you have a history. Can you explain who Gorka is?
So, growing up, my brother Scott, 4.5 years older than I am.
Shout out, Scott.
Shout out, Scott. I would play Gorka. He would play Mal Havoc.
Okay.
Which, I'm 5. He's, do the math, 9. Adorable, I'm sure. But Gorka says the strange, and he does his in a 9-year-old voice.
Sure. Gorka.
Mal Havoc, foolish mortals. And there actually throughout this whole season, the bad guys are way more interesting than Super Friends, right? Satan gets all the good lines, right?
Yeah.
And so Lex Luthor, this is the thing. It's like they're so much cooler. They're so much more interesting. They have the better lines, but they're saddled with like these ridiculous. Well, we can't say these words anymore, but in 1979 we could. But like we would now say special underlings, and Lex Luthor saying like you're a genius, you idiot, and like slapping his sidekick. So we would play this out a lot, my brother and I. But Gorka comes with news, but the whole thing is like Mal Havoc can like teleport himself anywhere, right? Why does he need the news?
So
didn't Mal Havoc already also know that they were like en route at this point?
Yeah, but he didn't know that they escaped.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He thought they might die.
This raises two interesting questions. And one of them is,
why does Kendall still pretend he's Gorka on a daily basis?
Well, he's a good character.
It's too easy, Shaylin. It's my fallback.
My one question is Gorka specific. Then I'll get to the second. Gorka appears at this point in the episode. He didn't show up before this, right?
Nope.
Like we have no idea who
That's
Gorka
great
is.
storytelling, by the way.
Yeah. And the second question, and this is what you touched on, Kendall, like, so Mal Havoc, he can teleport anywhere.
Yep.
And this ring could be his downfall.
Yes.
And later, when they go to the chamber where the ring is, he teleports in there. Why the fuck didn't he just get the ring at some point? Mal Havoc.
See,
not smart.
This is another thing I love about Mal Havoc. He could do that, but he wants to. He wants to play along.
It's beneath him.
He's kind of taunting them, like batting them around like a shark would with the baby seal. Yeah.
Or do you think at some point, like Mal Havoc went to get the ring, he brought 300 trolls, and he just kind of, sent them to do his bidding. They all died. Maybe there's another undercurrent there.
Ooh, maybe there's some guilt.
Yeah, could be.
Or maybe
troll guilt.
He personally never succeeded in the 3 tasks. Self-preservation.
Oh, because there is that. Yeah, we'll get to the dragon in him. Just like the
No spoilers, Kendall.
Well, we should probably get there sooner or later. So they end up in the 3rd chamber, and there's a big dragon, and they send Wonder Woman to get the ring because, of course, the woman got to get her ring. Huh?
Oh.
Huh?
Well, because she likes it, so she's going to put a ring on it.
Yeah, nice.
Yes. And let's play a couple of clips here.
Great flaming troll hammers! It's the magic ring of Gandor!
So the Ring of Gandor is on the back of a big dragon. Huge dragon. And I don't know where that could have come from, you know?
Is it possible he's Gandor?
Yeah, probably.
Right? Because it's like the Ring of Gandor.
Yeah.
But they don't call the dragon Gandor.
Do they give it a name?
Yeah,
Dennis?
Dennis.
Dennis Dragon?
Dennis.
It's Reginald the Dragon.
And
Trixie. It's a she.
So Mal Havoc shows up and Batman taunts him to get him to attack.
Yes.
Your dime store magic isn't strong enough to stop me, Mal Havoc.
You'll soon see just how strong it is, mortal.
So the thing I love is that not only do you have the sexiest voice, and I forget the voice actor's name, but why wasn't he a star?
Maybe he was.
Maybe
He's a writer. It's Stanley Ralph Ross.
Yeah,
he's a writer.
He's very successful, but like
he was Perry White in 2 different Superman series.
But you have the Super Friends who are shrunken down and like have heliated voices, so it's like the
it's a beautiful thing.
It's just
levels.
Yes,
levels.
Because Mal Havoc is that much more powerful. Okay.
So
apparently, I'm the only one who cares about this.
No.
It's
a beautiful juxtation.
Okay,
I
thank
get
you,
what you're
Dave.
saying.
Yeah.
I didn't interrupt because I agreed.
Okay, thank you.
Belongs in the Museum of Modern Art. I think we can all agree on that point. So Wonder Woman gets ensnared by the tail of the dragon. And this was when I noticed, like, what a big plot point being tied up is. You know what I mean? There are so many people that just get ensnared in things in this episode.
Bound.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's really a metaphor for, you know, the bondage of life.
And the 70s.
And this was a ripoff of 50 Shades of Grey, which was to come
35 years later.
Or so I'm told. Yeah. Yeah. Sexy. So they end up with the ring and they're running back to the original chamber where they have to put the ring on a statue of a crying gargoyle.
Yep.
Yes.
Which again is in the original mine for some reason. Yeah.
Rather than like he could have totally toppled it Taliban style. Yeah.
I was going to say, I mean, that shit's heavy.
Yeah.
Like,
why is that gargoyle crying?
Because it looked cool, I guess.
It disturbed the hell out of me. It was like, it got to it really quick. I'm like, ah!
It was pretty freaky. I agree with you there.
The gargoyle is Dave's spider people.
Fair enough.
So they're being chased by Mal Havoc, and Mal Havoc finally hits somebody with
Baldur Scam.
Yeah, he hits Baldur Scam. I guess it's not too deadly, though.
But Baldur Scam falls.
Yeah.
And says selflessly, although, you know, he's a bit of a martyr, too. Like, leave, can't go anymore. But Batman, the worst.
He is the worst.
The worst.
And I'll play the clip in a second.
Okay.
But another side effect, I think Baldur Scam turns Italian here. Let's listen.
Mal Havoc's spell is too powerful. Go on, without me.
Sorry, Baldascan. We don't abandon our friends.
Like, Baldur Scam is perfectly fine outside of turning Italian. So that bolt of
paisanos.
Yeah.
Go make a spicy meatball without me.
Back to my mama.
I need a pistachio and hot pepper ice cream.
It's just, it's not cool.
And then, but Batman's response.
Yeah, just
it does like,
completely
I'm
emotionless.
sorry.
Yeah.
But just like, oh.
It's like he doesn't.
But
I
that's
have
what
to tell you a white bread
I
story.
have to teach you this.
Yeah.
Which is,
I don't care if you
Super
want to
Friends
die.
are the worst.
Yeah, they are the worst.
Yeah.
We get back to the original chamber, and Wonder Woman is tasked with putting the ring on the gargoyle.
And I love the reason why she can't climb up.
Well, I like to call it Shaylin's lament. Let's listen.
Oh, that's really hurtful.
With my short troll legs, it's difficult to climb.
So, Shaylin, the listener won't know this, but you are short.
I am not tall. That is
about 4'6".
I am 5 feet tall. My license says I'm 5'2".
Did you relate to Wonder Woman's problem? Did you ever have trouble climbing gargoyle statues as a child?
Cry.
Well, no. So I found being low to the ground gave me an excellent center of gravity, and I was a really good tree climber. Getting back down was often a problem because you get to the point where someone would say, just jump, but it was like twice your height. It was terrifying.
Yeah.
And Ben, great minds here, because I wrote down, with my short troll legs, it's difficult to climb. Shaylin taking the stairs.
That's really good.
That's a mea culpa for next week.
Out of nowhere recently, my son, who's 3, just looked at me and went, "Mommy, you're short." So,
who's the father?
It's a good question.
Okay,
Mal Havoc.
See, I'm trying to help you out here.
Yeah.
But
An
also,
air of mystery.
well, that would be fine. I mean, like he wouldn't even feel bad if Mal Havoc was. It's like,
and he's out of the picture now.
Well, even if he weren't, it's just like that guy is.
Just listen to that guy's voice, man.
That went in a different direction. Wow.
You broke Ben.
Mal Havoc needs those diamonds so he can pay the child support.
Well,
dark. That got dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting any of that. So, Mal Havoc, he's not going down easy. He's blasting magic all over the damn cave. He knocks Batman and Wonder Woman off a cliff. And
He's blapping magic.
Yeah, he's blapping magic all over the place. Gleek's tail ties into a knot for some reason.
It like extends longer than it normally is.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
Yeah.
And again, like the statue is just in the chamber. All right, we're past this. I'm going to stop questioning Mal Havoc's strange logic. But long story short, Gleek does it. Gleek uses his tail to put the ring on the statue. And then I'm going to play a longer clip here because it's all pretty amazing. And who doesn't love a long clip? Yes. Let's listen. That clip really has it all. Inexplicable sound effects, and a fantastic, villain death in a tornado.
No.
Just everything. Yeah.
So the sound effects maybe not quite perfectly aligned with what you're looking at, but they're awesome. Like they're not cheesy sounding. They sound so good. So good.
Yeah, because Gleek is walking up a xylophone.
Right. It doesn't sound like a dude with like a trash can and a hammer trying to fill an entire episode with noises. Like the Foley artist actually did work in this episode and actually did try.
Mm-hmm. Who was the Foley artist?
I don't know.
Was it Don Gooch?
Oh, the Gooch.
It was Dave
Gooch.
Berger.
Dave Berger.
That's right. Confirmed credit.
So do you know the name the name Gleek just keeps. Every time I hear it, I just kind of like shudder a little bit. It is such a gross sounding name to me.
Oh, I thought that was your porn name, Dave. No,
just Gleek.
Is it because you're associating it with like the fandom of the Glee TV show?
No, but that's gross too.
What a leap to make!
Yeah, that is a leap. But I googled Gleek, and here's a definition for you. Gleeking is the act of stimulating the salivary glands underneath your tongue into spitting a concentrated jet of pure saliva. Usually it happens when you yawn. So gross. I have you ever heard that before?
I have, because I can go one layer deeper, because it's also a portmanteau for good leak.
I bet you can, Tiger. You use portmanteau.
That's right. So if you ever see like a tasty looking leek, it builds that salivary gland up, and then you have a concentrated stream of pure saliva.
Because it's...
And that's what you're going to find at Sammy Hagar's beach bar.
And we're back.
That's the little story on the back of the menu. Just to find good leek.
The aristocrats.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry for that little aside.
No, thank you.
It's just so gross.
Mm-hmm. The Super Friends all de-troll, and when they de-troll, Wonder Woman gets her earrings back, which, I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
A woman's power.
Yes.
That's right. And then we cut back to the camping scene, and I was trying to figure this out, and on multiple viewings I couldn't. Maybe, Kendall, you can explain. Was this all a dream? Or were they going back camping again? I couldn't.
This is actually the original end episode for St. Elsewhere. So it's all in a fishbowl.
I was going to say Jacob's Ladder.
Okay.
It all works.
Okay, well, that too.
Yeah.
Oh, I had Newhart.
Oh, there you go.
Dallas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Roseanne.
Wow. Like, why was that used so
Mr.
often?
Belvedere? Sure.
Yeah.
No, Roseanne had one.
Yes, I know.
Really?
But
No,
really,
really,
I mean,
not really.
was this play like? Was it supposed to be a dream?
I don't
Or-
think so. I think that at the end of the episode, the Wonder Twins really wanted their damn vacation.
Sure.
Well, and then
They earned it.
so he wakes up from a dream, Gleek does, and then he sees a possible troll hobbits, tricksy hobbits, and then he's just like, it's not worth the effort, and he falls asleep.
Yeah.
So he leaves them to their possible slavery, right?
And then there, like in the corner, there was a little top, and it was still spinning.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell if it was wobbling or not. It just
And then Hans Zimmer music.
yeah.
There you go. Okay. Best episode ever.
It's true.
Okay.
Best episode that we watched for this week.
I meant best podcast ever.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, that is true.
Yeah.
Well, that's Super Friends, and let's rate this shit in the figurative sense.
Yes.
Not in the literal sense. And Kendall, you're our guest, and you get the honor of telling us if you would show this to a child, any child.
Any child.
Yes.
Well, I don't have kids.
It's okay.
I know. That's okay. I would, well, considering the fact that I saw this as a child,
Sure.
I would definitely show this to a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think ironically it tries to, the whole thing about Super Friends is like, here, follow the rules and these are the things to do. And it's just like, wow, that's a really bad message because no one wants to do that. Like we like our heroes dirty
Mm-hmm.
and our villains dirtier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So
Angels with dirty souls kind of stuff.
Hey.
I can dig it.
Yeah.
I can dig it. All right. Shaylin?
Yes. I would definitely show this to a kid.
Okay. Dave?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would show it to a kid.
Ben?
Yeah, sure. What the hell?
Hey, wait.
We've got a social.
Yes.
Indeed. I was going to say everybody drink, but
I'm way ahead of you.
yeah. Hey.
Hey.
And let's go with 1 to 5 short troll legs. And Kendall, why don't you kick us off again?
Well, this was one of my favorite episodes growing up. It has flaws, and no, and I mean the strengths are it's the originality.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm going to say four troll legs.
It's a strong score.
Taking back some of the it did steal from something. There are some plot. The Gorka character. I wish there were like deleted scenes because I want to see more Gorka. But
I'm sure Gorka probably had his own comic series
maybe
in like the 80s.
Yeah,
or something.
but like just throwing him into the mix at that point, it hurts storytelling.
All right, Dave.
I had a 3.5 out of 5 for this. So just a half. I wanted a half of a troll leg.
Which half? The upper or the lower?
Oh, the lower.
Left.
Am I a weirdo?
The left half.
Okay, whatever works.
That's my answer.
Shaylin?
I give it 4 troll legs, which accounts for almost 2 whole human legs.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna go with 4 as well. You know, I think it's a really funny show to go back and watch, and if you're not a lunatic like I am and thinking about like the plot of a children's show to the point of having a podcast about it, then it's fun. You know, we talked about it's pretty good quality animation. And if you embrace sort of the shameless half-ass ripoff of Lord of the Rings, you can have a lot of fun with it. I mean, this isn't Christopher Nolan Batman or your dark gritty.
It's clearly better.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's different
I
interpretations.
mean, I think we can agree on that.
Yeah.
Let's all agree on that now. Say it, Ben.
I agree.
Okay.
You know,
It's objectively better.
Yeah. I mean, we all have our own versions of Santa Claus and mythos, and I think that this is a worthy interpretation of Batman and Superman and the rest, and that should be applauded. So, Kendall, you are our guest,
Yes.
but you have graced us with a gift.
Have
the
I?
gift of game.
Oh. Well, you're in luck.
I hope so.
Well, Do you though?
You can't do worse than we usually do on the show. So. The bar is low.
You would be surprised.
Let's test that theory.
All right. So, is this where I go ahead with my game?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. That was me throwing.
I'm
to
sorry.
You. That's what we call it
I
in
didn't.
the biz.
Yes, that was an alley-oop, and I whiffed. All right. So here we go. In honor of the 3 deadly tasks that the trolls had to go through, I had 3. Sorry, 3 questions for you. All right, here we go. I'm just going to read these off.
Who answers the question?
Oh,
how does this work?
How does this work?
You wrote the game, Kendall.
Yes, I did. I will. This is something, Ben, that I blame on you not going to the restaurant that now I can't remember the name.
Sammy Hagar.
Thank you.
Yeah.
In Cleveland. So this is your fault.
Okay. I'll take it.
I guess this is, I thought it would be for the floor.
Okay.
And then I realized that because not everyone is present and we don't have like Jeopardy buzzers.
Yeah.
So
should we just ding if we have an answer?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe a ding.
Okay.
Is there a more Super Friends appropriate noise?
Great Scott.
Foolish mortals.
We should all have our own.
Oh, I like that even better.
Okay, we can come up with our own noises.
We'll do it. Do it now. So, Shaylin, what's yours?
I'm deer in the headlights here. I've got nothing. I'm trying to think of how Gleek does his noise, and I can't do it.
Ben, go.
Woo! That Superman's flying noise.
Superman's flying?
Mm-hmm.
Mine's holy troll mining.
I'm going Great Scott. Great Scott!
That's Back to the Future.
That makes me feel uncomfortable, Shaylin.
Damn it. I'm just going to say I'm uncomfortable.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
Here we go.
Plays.
All right. So, I don't think we covered this at all.
Mm-hmm.
However, question 1. This episode seems to have some common elements with The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, it's a coincidence. During the season, the writers seem to coincidentally share, maybe steal, some elements from other cultural touchstones. Which of the following is not stolen by the writers? A. The Wizard of Oz. B. Captain Nemo. C. King Arthur. D. The Black Stallion. E. Frankenstein. F. Did I skip something? No.
Nope.
Superman the movie.
Is that all the options?
Those are the options. Ooh, Ben.
I'm gonna go shot in the dark and say the Black Stallion.
The Black Stallion is correct.
Oh.
The Black Stallion, which came out that year, 1979. Not such a great movie, but Terry Garr. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, lovely.
Black Stallion was the precursor for Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken, which is one of my childhood favorites.
Yes,
yeah.
with Gabrielle Anwar. Another wow.
Was that the diving horse one?
Yes.
Yeah.
She gets blind or something.
Yeah, from jumping in the water too hard.
Yeah.
With a horse.
That's happened to me. Yeah, when I dove in the water with the horse, I went blind.
Well, we all went blind that way.
Yeah.
Who didn't go blind that way?
Just
Am I
wish
right?
he wore pants
Just wish she wore pants.
when he dove into the water. That's why we all went blind. I was making a joke.
Nice.
Oh,
Love it. I
it's a
love
low
it.
blow. It's uncalled for.
All right.
Fucking Don
And
Rickles
so,
over here.
So Ben gets 5 trolls.
All right.
Yeah, because now like you have slaves now, like
Yeah,
troll
yeah.
slaves to work in your
That's
diamond
cool.
mines.
Yeah.
Okay. You have 5.
Minions.
Minions too. Sure.
Whatever.
Question 2. This is yet another episode during the World's Greatest Super Friends, which was the 1 season long iteration, where members of the team lose their powers. Which of the following is not one of the ways in which they lose their powers? A. Superman and the Wonder Twins are trapped in a space genie's lamp, and there are certainly no racist stereotypes in this episode. B. That lovable trickster Mitsoplex transports Superman, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman to the land of Oz via tornado, where they turn into the Tin Man, the Cowardly Lion, and the Scarecrow. C. Lex Luthor makes a deal with General Zod, voiced by Terrence Stamp, to rob Superman and Aquaman of their powers. They are saved by Gleek. Or D. Dr. Frankenstein kidnaps Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, and Aquaman, zaps them of their powers during a lightning storm, and transfers said powers to his monster. They are saved by Robin. So, I can go over the options again.
Holy troll mining.
Holy troll mining, Dave. Yes? Yes?
He's buzzing in.
Oh, you're buzzing in. I'm sorry.
That's my
I
voice.
forgot.
I thought you were just using your catchphrase.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I'm unveiling on tonight's episode of WatchBots. Is it the Lex Luthor? I forgot what letter it was.
That is C.
Yes.
Well done. That is correct.
Yeah.
Yes, that was Superman 2, of course. Although Aquaman was not a part of that. You get 50 troll slaves. Congratulations.
Give me those trolls.
All right.
Give me those trolls.
Scoring seems egregious and arbitrary.
Yeah, that's
I
how
agree.
it is. And question number 3. In 10th grade, I thought I would be try my hand at brilliant. I thought I would be a brilliant writer. I was right. Totally. So I went out to write the Great American Story.
It's
and
showing.
I needed a villain, and I thought it was okay to steal names from places. So my protagonist was Guy Montag. Nobody's ever heard of him before. And the name of the big bad I stole from this episode, but I altered it just a bit, slightly. So the name I used for my villain was Al Havoc. What did Al Havoc do? A. He was an immoral defense lawyer who got child abusers off. I had Jack Nicholson tapped for the role. B. An ex-white hunter turned ruthless boss of an illegal poaching operation. In my mind, he was a gruff avuncular, maybe played by Robert Loggia. C. A continental dandy who stole secrets from for Saddam Hussein. And I thought Christopher Hewitt might handle that role. Or D. He was the head of a Charles Manson-esque cult. Billy Zabka or maybe Willie Ames in the title role.
Could you read A one more time for me?
A was an immoral defense lawyer who got child abusers off with Jack Nicholson.
What did he do?
What did he do?
What did he
Yeah, what did he do?
with A?
He was like a sleazy defense lawyer.
But what did he do?
He got, trust me, I wrote it that way on purpose.
I was going to say, is it like a...
He got child abusers off. Like
a distraction is the best defense. Yeah.
Huh.
I'll give it a shot. And I mean...
Sure.
All right.
Oh, we're going that way. I didn't realize it was that podcast. Okay,
well,
fine.
Since Shaylin introduced some Don Rickles humor, and then she died on mic.
Yeah, that sounds awful over there.
I feel
Were
better.
those all the answers? Or were those all the options, Kendall?
So A, B, D, and E. So A is the immoral defense lawyer who gets off child abusers.
That's too far.
Jack Nicholson. B, ex-white hunter turned ruthless boss of a legal poaching operation. Robert Loggia. C, continental dandy with Christopher Hewitt, who was, of course, Mr. Belvedere. And D, head of a cult. Billy Zabka.
I'm uncomfortable. I'm buzzing in.
Yes.
Head of a cult.
Head of a cult. Great answer, but no.
Womp,
Holy troll mining.
womp.
Yes.
Is it A?
That is incorrect.
Ah.
You lose your 50 slaves. Now you're a slave.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Ooh. Is it the Continental Dandy?
The Continental Dandy is not correct
Wow.
either. You all are now troll slaves. Sorry.
That was a way higher
yeah.
stakes game than I expected.
Yeah.
I had Al Havoc as the head of a illegal poaching ring. Yeah. He was
All
not
right.
a nice guy.
No,
he was
apparently not.
certainly not a two-dimensional flat character who was very well thought out and well written.
So what was his name? Al Havoc?
Al Havoc.
Albert Havoc.
Al Havoc. Yes.
So we all lose.
I think
Everyone
I
loses.
think the listeners are the losers here.
I mean, that went without saying.
Okay.
But,
Yeah, that's the general.
They usually
So
are.
For every
I
game.
like how you gave me, oh no matter how bad the game is, it can't be as bad as it. Well, you're welcome. There's a new low. There is a new low.
I don't think that's true. I can't think of what the low is, but I'm sure we've gone lower. Well, Plum Depths, you never even heard of before.
Well, in the diamond mines, sure. I mean,
absolutely.
The blood diamond mines.
I understand. References.
Dig deeper, you troll.
Well, thank you, Kendall, for bringing the game. We appreciate it. And let's move on to the mailbag. And wouldn't you know it, this week's mailbag is from Sal Havoc. So, just another branch on the tree. You ever make up your own superheroes or comics or whatever? Check that shit. And I'll translate. And I think what Sal is asking is, and Kendall, you talked about this a little, we're all imaginative folks. I mean, when you were a kid, did you make up, your own heroes or anything like that?
In 4th grade, I wrote a series of mystery stories with the protagonist, Gabby Sinclair. And she had pigtails, and I always drew her with her hands behind her back because I wasn't good at drawing hands.
Also, what was she up to? Couldn't trust her.
What was she hiding?
Her hands, because I couldn't
Or
draw.
was she?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm reacting to Kendall wiggling eyebrows. That's not what's going on
I
there.
was going to say, what are you pantomiming?
Yeah. I think, so this sounds to me like a Pippi Longstocking, Nancy Drew mix.
So she was like Nancy Drew, but doing like unsolved mystery plot lines because I watched a lot of inappropriate television.
Sure.
So.
Like
murders,
yeah,
rapes.
yeah.
Like she was digging up
Hardcore
the hard
stuff.
shit, but like she was cute and like perky. Yeah.
Then digging out like whose semen this was and then going to her brownies meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
It was blood samples, not semen, but whatever.
Sometimes it's both.
DNA's
Just
DNA,
saying.
baby. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I've seen the Antichrist. I know what's up.
So I had a go-to character, and his name was Hard Rock. And
Yes.
he was a man that was made out of rock, and that was about as far as it ever went. But he was a good
Wow.
Yeah, like he was a good like playground character. Like, I'm Hard Rock, and of course kids would be like, what does that mean? And I didn't have an answer. Or like if we were like doing pretend wrestling or whatever, Hard Rock would be the guy.
I mean, it's a great wrestler name.
Yeah.
It's a great porn name. It's a
Yeah, I
great
was gonna say
wrestler
it's
porn name.
Yes, you see, because
Awesome porn name.
rocks
Yeah.
are hard.
Oh, I didn't get that.
Yeah,
I didn't get that
So,
part.
Hard
Ben.
Rock.
Oh,
I guess it
right.
could have been like an 80s hairband guy too, but
Yeah.
that wasn't the concept. Like in my crew drawings, like he always had like a bowl cut kind of, but the bowl cut was also made out of rock. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Was it like a different kind of rock? It was like shale or limestone or something.
You know, these are tough questions to answer. I'd have to go back through the character Bible to see, but let's say adaptable. You know, maybe there was a layer of moss somewhere on like his man bits, because you don't want to get gross.
You could go with like moss on a rolling stone.
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe he's got like some
Very
like
zen.
obsidian jewelry or something. Yeah. Or
No,
accessories.
no. There were no accessories.
Awfully flamboyant,
Yeah,
Dave.
he was plain.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's dull.
He probably had some rock themed quips, but like, you know, I was probably 6, so I don't think I came up with a lot of quips at the time. But
Did he have like magma hats?
Magma.
Make America great.
magma again.
Magma. Thank you for the save.
Yeah, save. Totally. Dave, any characters on your end?
Anyone you're willing to admit to?
Yeah. I had this character. He was in my Create a Wrestler and all the wrestling video games.
Mm-hmm.
He was like a character I tried to like sketch out a lot, and he was also like a superhero kind of person I would try to write like comics for. But his name was Dave Steele. with an E at the end.
Not Davey Steele, just Dave Steele.
Not Davey Steele.
Okay.
That's childish.
Steele with an E at the end.
Did he have his own bedroom?
What?
Like,
I'm assuming so.
Okay.
I don't know.
As opposed to
Why do you
say
ask?
a linen closet?
as opposed to a linen closet.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
where I was going. Thank you, Shaylin.
Probably not.
Okay.
No, Dave Dave Steele lived in a cool trailer like Mel Gibson's character in Lethal Weapon 2.
All right.
That's all right.
And he always had Johnny Cage sunglasses on.
Okay.
Well, who didn't? What hero didn't?
Yeah. He was a real cool dude.
Huh.
Nice.
So he was a cool dude that lived in a trailer.
And wore sunglasses.
And solved mysteries. Oh wait, no, that was Gabby Hartnett.
Sinclair.
Gabby Sinclair.
Gabby Sinclair.
Gabby Hartnett was a catcher. Right. Sorry.
Close.
Gabby Sinclair. All right.
Yeah.
And Dave.
Yeah.
Dave Steele. Dave Steele.
Dave
Steele. What did he do again?
Just was cool looking.
He just was cool looking. Okay.
Yeah.
So he was a model.
Like beat up bad guys.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. No real superpowers. Just he was like he had like
I think his name was a superpower.
Yeah.
It's very intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if it was just Dave Steele, like steel as in the metal, you add that E on. That's not somebody you're going to be fucking with.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. And that's why I thought of him.
Pull you out to the trailer and fucking pin you to the wall. That's Dave Steely for you.
He's so cool. Cool to steal.
Steely.
Kendall, anybody you're willing to share?
Well, I did have my vigilante park ranger.
Okay.
So this was Guy Montag, which was my own name that was stolen by Ray Bradbury like 40 years before I came up with it.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I had this idea of a vigilante park ranger in Africa. So I mean the whole thing about good writing is write what you know. I'd never been camping. I'd never been to Africa. So I didn't know anything about weapons.
Yeah.
So I had him armed with, late 20th century stuff.
An old-timey elephant gun.
Longbow, swords. So it was basically like I took the Highlander and Robin Hood and like plunked down in Africa. And it was a brilliant story. Well researched.
Sure.
And as well it was researched, it was even better written because I certainly did not tell.
Sure. I was going to say, you're commending your own research and writing.
Oh, yeah. I definitely made sure not to do any exposition.
Okay.
Or
any exposition at all.
No.
Okay.
Well, no, there was no telling. Let me put it that way. And the characters were definitely fleshed out and really complex and nuanced. And the dialogue was very real and not cliched.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So Guy Montag, Al Havoc.
I like that.
It was Vigilante Park Ranger. It writes itself.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Sounds like these four characters would get along really well.
Real super friends.
Well, he needed I don't know. Guy Montag needed Dick Steele and Gabby Hartnett.
Dave Steele.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say? Whoops. I think I said Dave Steele. I think you all heard Dick Steele.
Well,
rock hard Dick Steele.
It was hard rock.
Dick Steele.
I mean, let's not get gross here. It was hard rock. So you mentioned Ray Bradbury, and it reminded me of like the early days of internet video. And one time we stumbled on this video, and I don't know how, and I don't know if it still exists somewhere. I'm going to have to look. It was called The Continuing Adventures of Ray Bradbury. And it was like 4 college kids, and they made like a 5-minute video about Ray Bradbury going on these crazy adventures. So like
in a refrigerator time machine.
Yeah, there was a refrigerator time machine. He had a doppelganger and kids, and like it's one of those things. Like I think about it from time to time, and it's like how did that come together? Like why?
And why is it
Ray
still
Bradbury?
taking up space in our brains?
Yeah.
That's a good question too.
Yeah, I forgot like trigonometry because of this video. Like it's fucking crazy. Anyway,
it's not one of your books, Dad.
Now we're quoting like obscure internet videos from 15 years ago.
All right.
We're doing it good. All right. Well, thank you, Sal. That was a great mailbag question. Yep. And if you want to get some mail to us that we won't pontificate on, email at watchbotspod.com. So, guys, we talked the hell out of Super Friends. Any last thoughts here?
I guess one last question.
Sure.
It's just like growing up, this was never a thing with you? Like the Super Friends this was never your thing, right? Because you're basically 10 years, 10 or more years younger than I am, right? Mm-hmm. So this is not a thing.
So, I mean, it was, but I think in a different way. Because when you saw it, it was fresh. Whereas when I watched it, it was on reruns. But at the time, I probably wouldn't have known that. Yeah. So,
but it's definitely a different vibe, right?
I mean, I was into it, but I think that it was overpowered by other stuff. Like I was a much bigger Scooby-Doo fan. So if I was watching Super Friends, I would have just compared everything back to Scooby-Doo. So it's not Robin, that's Shaggy.
Right.
But
well, yeah. But yeah, just because it was always a thing.
A thing.
It was always a thing.
A thing.
And everyone watched the Super Friends. And
not me.
You didn't watch the Super Friends.
No, I watched the Super Friends a lot, yeah. All the shows on reruns and everything. Like I watched Scooby-Doo, Super Friends, Yogi,
Hanna-Barbera's Power Land of Mystical Adventures.
Oh yeah.
But I never realized they were older
cartoons,
so they could. It never occurred to me until I was older.
Mm-hmm. But as we said, there's so many iterations of it that there's the earlier ones are so 70s. Mm-hmm. So, and then it gets into so very 80s and shit like that. But I don't know. I mean,
it's a beautiful thing.
It's a great melange of cartoons.
It's a beautiful thing. Well, Kendall, thank you for joining us and acting as our inaugural guest. Unless you drop dead in the next minute and a half, you'll have survived the experience.
I think I can safely say best episode ever. Mm-hmm. You're welcome. So, okay. Yes. Okay.
And you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Jiffy at WatchBotsPod. Please subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Spotify, or your platform of choice. Until next week, this has been for Dave and Shaylin and Kendall. Thank you for listening to another episode of Watchbox. And until we speak again, you have my axe.
More foolish mortals.
You have my sword.
And my bow.
Bye.